Everybody, it's Stephanie L. I am coming here to show you my January layout. So look at all these supplies. Like, this is what my desk looks like on a normal everyday basis. So I'm not even gonna act like I'm gonna keep it clean, but I will keep it crafty. So I'm excited for the month of January. It's a new year with new beginnings. I've already made my resolutions, but they're not the typical, like, oh, I'm going to lose weight resolutions. These are the resolutions that I plan on sticking with this month or this year. So let's get started with the intro page. You saw I already started January, and right now I'm showing you, like, on my last video, the plan with me for the year, where I said that I was going to plan out what my themes were for each month. So that was kind of a throwback to that. And now let's get into what I'm doing for this month. So I'm continuing my my garden theme, but this time it's, it's all pots. So potted plants and vines. That's what I'm doing for the month of January, and I'm pretty happy with it. I was kind of just inspired looking at Pinterest, looking at social media, and honestly, like, it struck with me because I've been doing a lot more planting the past year. I'm planning to continue to do it. I've even made a couple of different things that really don't have anything to do with plants, but for me, it has everything to do with everything. So my affirmation for this month is my presence makes the difference, and a little bit about where this comes from. I've been experiencing a lot lately where someone will ask me to come over and can I help them fix something, like whether it's the kids asking me to help them do something, or my husband asking them to do something, one of my sisters calling me to help them with something, and by the time I get there, whatever it is that was broken or needed my attention is automatically fixed. So it's got to the point where I'll just like tap on whatever it is and I'll say, yep, that's all it needed was me. So that's where this comes from, but it's really kind of uplifting for me to just think, just by being there, it can help the situation. And honestly, I think that's true. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but yeah, I think it's true. So my theme is going to be pretty simple and green. Yeah, I just got these 3 colors of green, and I'm going to fill in wherever I need to because, that's different plants. So I'm filling in my mini calendar that's on my cover page underneath my January. You saw me write that January in when I first started the video. Can you believe I'm really not that good? Like, all the time, like that. I just lucked up on writing that January this way. That was a very pretty January for me. I cannot brush letter for anything. I just, I saw that font and I went for it. Now what you see me doing is filling in this little arch. I don't know what this arch was going to be at first. I just wanted something pretty for all my plants to be in, and then I realized there was a lot of empty space up there. So what else did I put in there? Vines. And actually, this was my husband's idea because I showed it to him and I told him it felt empty, and he was just like, yeah, why don't you try some vines? And like, best idea ever, hub. So these are no particular vines at all. Like, even the plants that I drew, these are no particular plants. Like, I just drew a bunch of plants that I feel like I saw around the house or I've seen around my neighborhood, except for that last one with the little like things hanging off of it. That's a tomato plant. I'm not sure if I feel like a kid who like shows you a blob on their piece of paper and they're like, look, it's you, mommy, and I was like, yeah, look, y'all, it's a tomato plant. I'm not sure if you can tell that, but it is. And as I'm looking at this and thinking about my theme, I feel like this can be a very springy theme, especially to be in the dead middle of winter where it is chilly outside and it's like hitting those 40 degrees and the 30 degrees. And this would seem like a horrible time to have like a very green, springish kind of layout, but I feel like this is working for me, and that's what I like because this is how I'm getting into this new year, this Genesis. So here I'm going over to my meal planner layout. I know a lot of people probably just do their meal planning during the week, and I have done that before, but it never works out for me. I will wind up doing my meal planning on Friday for the week that just passed. So what I decided to do is if I can do a couple of meals a day or do a couple of meals at a time, this actually helps me out a lot better. So this little box pattern, each day is going to be a different, each box is going to be a different day where I just plan whatever the dinner for that day is going to be. And generally that works out. I still probably don't plan 100% of the meals, but the 40 to 50% that I actually do plan, it works out great. So let's go to the next one. So this is going to be my habit tracker. I don't track a lot of habits. Most of the time it's just washing my face or washing my face and drinking water. Those are the two that I generally track. And a lot of times I just track those in my phone. But it does help for me to have those in my actual planner. Like I can go back and look and see what I've actually done. I try to add other habits, but like it just doesn't work. This is my fasting tracker. I know this looks like a mood tracker and that's what inspired it, but this is honestly my fasting tracker, and I am drawing a whole bunch of like cloves of garlic because again, like I'm growing garlic right now. Well, my husband's growing garlic. I'm just kind of watering it for him when he forgets. So the way this works is each one of these cloves, I'm going to put a different day on it. And if I, depending on how long I fast that day, I color it a different shade of green. So this is, like I'm not advocating for anybody else to do this. Intermittent fasting seems to be helping me on my food goals and on my weight loss goals. So, it happens to work for me for now. So if you want to try it. And if you don't, well, you don't. It's as simple as that. And here is, I was trying to write this down to kind of look like the kitchen kind of thing, but I misspelled it and I didn't know how to fix it. So we're just going to have garlic. Garlic. Yep, we're just eating garlic. And that's me filling in my legend for my fasting tracker. So let's go into my calendar. Now, generally my calendar is like the thing that goes right after my intro page or right after my cover page, but I kind of messed this up. I forgot one of my layouts and I already had my meal plan layout like drawn out, and I didn't want to have to erase it and move it back one. So it's just kind of out of order this month, but it's gonna be what it is. It's gonna work. So here we are. I think this is going to be my new permanent font, like personal permanent font for me, because I feel like I draw this one relatively well. We're just going to, we're just going to work with this one. And I'm going to write in the days of the week across each one. And I'm going to go with my little social media trackers. So I don't track social media a whole lot, but it is something that I'm getting into more of this year. Again, I'm taking my own brands a little bit more seriously this year. In the past, I've just worked on client brands and that's been that. But this year was the year I said, hey, you know what? We're going to sit down and we're going to get your brand together. So that way when people find you, they won't just be like, hey, you can grow other people's social media, but you can't grow your own. Because while that is true, it's kind of like a hairdresser. Like they do other people's hair, but they don't do theirs all the time. When you're working at Instagram all the time, by the time it's time to get to yours, you don't really think about it that much. So, but this year I'm deciding to take that, to make that change. I'm growing my team and I'm starting to look a little bit more, I'm starting to look to just doing more with my own brands this year. So that's where that's coming from. Here I'm coloring in my different days of the week with just different colors. And let's get into the first week. So this is the first week of the year, also the first week that goes with this month. And I don't know how I messed that up. Like I have a straight edge right here and still managed to get a curve in there. But don't worry, because I'm going to incorporate everything. We don't just mess up and tear up. Yeah, we don't mess up and tear up. It just stays in there. I'm going to write in my little mini calendar, and I like drawing this in with each layout because that way I'm aware of which week in the month we are. It helps for when you have different things that happen on different number weeks, like for example, first Sunday, third Thursday, stuff like that. If I can visually see which week I'm in, it just helps me out to capture those kind of things. One thing that I found that I'm going to do different in my bullet journal this year is I did all my weeks that week and didn't have it and put space behind them for notes for that week. So for example, I would have one spread and then the next spread would probably be stuff that goes along with this week. I think what I didn't like about that is that I felt like if I wound up not using that notes page or that extra space, then it would just be blank space in my journal, and I felt like I had to go back and fill that in with something. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to reserve one spread per week, and then after those I'm just going to put in like a big like notes page or a big notes spread, so that anything that I'm doing that goes between weeks or anything that I'm doing that happens to span over 2 weeks or anything like that can just be on that one spread in the back for the month. And that'll also help me out with better planning for the next month, because anything that travels over a couple of weeks is probably something that's going to travel over the next month anyway. So here I am. I'm just labeling my days with the dates. And I'm going to add a little hanging like stars and stuff. I just thought this would be neat to decorate this with for no reason in particular. I'm going to put some more vines and just have a couple of things that hang, and you'll see what I do at the bottom. I'm just going to put a little bit of like 3 clovers down there just so it can look like I'm trying to grow something out of there. And it's the growth for me that's really important. Like, I really want to take growth into 2024. Like, when I thought about what I wanted to draw for this bullet journal this year, or at least for January, that's really what I wanted to incorporate. Just what does growth mean to me? How can I express it? And I just looked around at everything that was already growing around me. And after I thought about it that way, it was like a no-brainer. You know, draw the garden. Draw the things that you've tried to grow on the back. So let's go ahead and do this final flip through. So here's my intro page, my meal planner, be a little difficult, my habit tracker and my fasting tracker, my calendar, and here's my first week. So if you've been here with me this long, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps my channel grow. And I'll be back with y'all next week with more planner stuff. Bye.